Minjun had watched Zola with 100 different men over 3 years and felt nothing. Until tonight, until Haru, until that gentle touch at the art festival that made his chest cave in like someone had ripped out his lungs. He didn't understand why his hands were shaking, why he suddenly couldn't breathe, why seeing another man's fingers on her skin felt like losing something he never knew he had. By the time he realized what that feeling was, he'd already done something he couldn't take back, and Zola was staring at him like she'd just seen a stranger wearing her best friend's face. Welcome back to Afro-Korean Stories HQ, my beautiful and amazing Pride family. Your love and support mean everything, and I promise to keep giving you the best stories as I learn, grow, and improve every single day. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from and hit that subscribe button to officially join the Pride family. That is the best and only way to support us, and in return we promise to bring you captivating, emotional, and addictive stories every single day. Now, let's dive into today's story. Minjun didn't know he was in love with her until another man's fingers wrapped around her wrist. That's the thing about jealousy. It doesn't knock. It breaks down the door. The Han River Promenade was packed that night. String lights stretched between food stalls and art installations like a glowing spiderweb. Steam rose from tteokbokki pots. Voices layered over saxophone notes drifting from somewhere in the crowd. The whole place smelled like rain, grilled meat, and wet paint. Zola Mensa stood in the middle of it all, clipboard in one hand, phone in the other, managing chaos like she was born for it. She'd curated this night market art festival herself. Every sculpture, every pop-up stage, every artist booth. Her mind worked like architecture, sharp, clean, intentional. People loved her for it. She made the messiest ideas look effortless. Minjun arrived 20 minutes late. Again. He spotted her near the suspended sculpture section, her locks tied back with a purple scarf, her cargo pants splattered with paint she probably didn't even notice. She was laughing at something a vendor said. That laugh, the one that crinkled her nose and made her whole face light up. He'd heard it 1,000 times. It still hit different every time. "You're late," Zola said without looking up when he got close. "Traffic." "Liar." Minjun grinned. "You love me anyway." She side-eyed him. Debatable. This was them. Easy, comfortable, safe. They'd been friends since Zola moved to Seoul 3 years ago for her master's program. Minjun was the first person who didn't treat her like a novelty, a black woman navigating Korea's art world. He just treated her like Zola. Sharp, funny, a little stubborn. And somewhere along the way, she started treating him like home. But home was dangerous, because home made. You want things you couldn't ask for. Minjun handed her an iced Americano. Extra shot. No sugar. Exactly how she liked it. "You didn't have to," Zola said, but she took it anyway. "I know." Their fingers brushed during the exchange. Minjun held on half a second too long. Zola pretended not to notice. She always pretended. "Did the light installation guy show up?" Minjun asked, scanning the crowd. "Yeah, finally. He's setting up near the bridge." "Oh, and the saxophonist is here too, Haru something. He's visiting from Tokyo." "Haru? Really talented. Played at that jazz festival in Hongdae last month." Minjun didn't care about jazz festivals, but he nodded like he did. They walked through the market together, Zola stopping every few steps to fix something. A tilted frame, a loose wire, a nervous artist who needed reassurance. Minjun followed her like a shadow. Close, but not touching. Present, but not invasive. This was his role, the constant, the safe option. He hated it. He loved it. He didn't know which feeling was louder. Then Haru appeared. Tall, lean, soft smile, saxophone case slung over his shoulder. He had that effortless artist energy, paint-stained jeans, vintage band tee, messy hair that somehow looked intentional. "Zola," he called out. She turned and her whole face shifted into work mode. Professional. Warm. Focused. Haru, you made it. How is the setup? Good, good. Just wanted to double-check the sound levels before the performance. Perfect. Let me show you. Minjun stayed quiet, observing. Haru moved like he belonged. Not cocky, just comfortable in his own skin. The kind of guy who made people feel seen. They reached the suspended sculpture, a massive glass and metal piece hanging from steel cables. The rain from earlier had made the ropes slick. Can you hold this steady while I adjust the lighting? Zola asked Haru. Sure. She climbed onto the small platform, reached up. Her foot slipped. Haru's hand shot out. His fingers circled her wrist, gentle, steady, natural. Careful, he said softly. Zola laughed. Thanks. That would have been embarrassing. You're good. I got you. His hand stayed there, just a second longer than necessary. Minjun saw it. Everything stopped. The crowd, the music, the lights. All of it collapsed into that one point of contact. Haru's fingers, Zola's wrist, something violent and primal ripped through Minjun's chest. Not anger, not confusion, pure, raw panic. He didn't think. He moved, 3 steps forward. His hand closed around Zola's other wrist. I got her, Minjun said. His voice didn't sound like his own. Zola blinked. Minjun? Haru stepped back, hands up. Oh, my bad. The air between them turned heavy, awkward, strange. Zola looked at Minjun like she was seeing him for the first time, or maybe seeing something she'd been ignoring for years. What's wrong? She asked quietly. Minjun opened his mouth, closed it. He had no answer, no excuse. Just the terrifying realization that watching another man touch her felt like losing something he didn't even know he had. Nothing, he lied. Just slippery out here. Zola studied him for a long moment, then she pulled her wrist free. I'm fine, she said, but her voice had changed. Careful now. Questioning. Minjun stepped back. His heart pounded against his ribs like it was trying to escape. Haru mumbled something about checking the sound system and disappeared into the crowd. Zola kept staring at Minjun. The festival noise buzzed around them, laughter, music, rain starting to fall again. But all Minjun could hear was the blood rushing in his ears, and all he could see was another man's hand where his should have been. They didn't talk on the walk home. Minjun offered to drive her. Zola said she'd rather walk. He followed anyway. The streets were slick with rain. Neon signs reflected in puddles like broken mirrors. Delivery bikes zipped past. Couples shared umbrellas. Everything felt normal, but nothing was. Zola kept her hands in her pockets. Minjun walked half a step behind. The silence between them wasn't comfortable anymore. It had weight, texture, questions neither of them wanted to ask. You didn't have to walk me, Zola said finally. I know. Then why are you? Minjun didn't answer. Because he didn't know. Or maybe he knew and couldn't say it. All he knew was that leaving her felt wrong, like walking away from something that might disappear if he blinked. They reached her building, a narrow walk-up in Yeonam-dong with a convenience store on the first floor. Zola stopped at the entrance. Thanks for coming tonight, she said. Her tone was polite, distant. Zola, good night, Minjun. She went inside before he could finish. Minjun stood there in the rain, watching her shadow climb the stairs through the frosted glass. His chest felt tight. His hands felt empty. He wanted to follow her. Knock on her door, say something real. But what would he even say? Sorry I grabbed you like a jealous boyfriend when I'm not your boyfriend. Sorry I can't explain why seeing another guy touch you made me lose my mind. He turned and walked home. Alone. Zola sat on her studio floor, back against the wall, knees pulled to her chest. Her apartment was small, but hers. Paint-stained drop cloths, half-finished canvases, sketches pinned to the walls with washi tape. It smelled like turpentine and jasmine incense. Usually, this space calmed her. Tonight, it felt too quiet. She replayed the moment at the festival. Haru's hand on her wrist, the way he'd steadied her. It was nothing. A reflex, the kind of thing people do without thinking. But Minjun's reaction? That was something. She'd seen jealousy before, possessiveness, guys who thought proximity meant ownership. That wasn't what Minjun's face looked like tonight. He looked terrified, like he'd just realized something he couldn't take back. Zola pressed her palms against her eyes. She wasn't stupid. She knew the way Minjun looked at her sometimes. The way he always showed up. The way he remembered her coffee order, her exhibit dates, the names of artists she mentioned once in passing, but she'd convinced herself it didn't mean anything. Because wanting it to mean something felt dangerous. Minjun was safe, stable, the one constant in a city where she still felt like a guest sometimes. If she let herself hope for more and he didn't feel the same, she'd lose him. And losing him felt worse than never having him. But tonight he'd looked at her like losing her was the only thing he was afraid of. Her phone buzzed. She grabbed it too fast. A text from her mom. Just a heart emoji. Not Minjun. She tossed the phone aside and stared at the ceiling. Minjun sat in his car outside his apartment building, engine off, rain drumming against the windshield. He couldn't go inside yet. Couldn't face the silence. The thoughts. He kept seeing it. Haru's fingers. Zola's wrist. It was nothing. He knew it was nothing. So why did it feel like everything? He'd watched Zola laugh with other guys before. Work with them. Hug them. It never bothered him. Or maybe it did, and he just got good at ignoring it. But tonight was different. Tonight something cracked open inside him, and now he couldn't close it. He thought about the way Zola looked at Haru. Curious, interested, open. She never looked at Minjun like that, because Minjun was already there, already known, already safe, and safe meant invisible. His phone sat in the cup holder. He picked it up, opened their text thread. His fingers hovered over the keyboard. Can we talk? Delete. I need to tell you something. Delete. Tonight felt wrong, and I don't know why. Delete. What was he supposed to say? That he'd been lying to himself for 3 years? That every time she smiled at someone else, it felt like losing? That he didn't know he loved her until another man touched her? How pathetic was that? He locked his phone, tossed it on the passenger seat. Rain blurred the windshield. The world outside looked like watercolor. Minjun leaned his head back and closed his eyes. Somewhere in the city, Zola was probably asleep by now, dreaming about art or installations or anything but him. And he was sitting in a parking lot, drowning in feelings he couldn't name. He typed one more message. Something feels wrong. His thumb hovered over send. Then he deleted it and drove home in silence. The Itaewon rooftop was magic. Fairy lights tangled through metal railings, candles flickered in glass jars. The skyline stretched out like a postcard, Namsan Tower glowing red in the distance, buildings stacked like Lego blocks, the city humming below. Zola had organized the whole thing, an intimate performance space for emerging artists, 30 people max, no tickets, just word of mouth and good energy. Haru was headlining. Minjun didn't want to come, but staying home felt worse. So here he was, leaning against the far railing, hands in his pockets, watching. Zola moved through the crowd, like light through water, checking the sound system, adjusting the mic stand, greeting people with hugs and that laugh that made everyone feel like they mattered. She wore a black turtleneck and wide-leg jeans, silver hoops, her locks loose tonight, framing her face. She looked beautiful. She always looked beautiful, but tonight it hurt to notice. Minjun watched her stop to talk to Haru near the makeshift stage. Haru said something. Zola threw her head back laughing. Minjun's jaw tightened. You good? His friend Junho appeared beside him with 2 beers. "Fine. You look like you're planning a murder." "I'm fine." Junho followed his gaze, smirked. "Ah, Zola. Drop it. How long are you going to pretend you don't have feelings for her?" "I said drop it." Junho raised his hands. All right. But you're doing that thing again." "What thing?" "That tortured hero thing. Very K-drama. Very obvious." Minjun drank his beer and didn't respond. The performance started. Haru stepped onto the small stage. No introduction. Just lifted the saxophone to his lips and played. The first note cut through the night like a blade. Slow, soulful, aching. The rooftop went silent. Even the city noise seemed to drop, just the sax and the wind and the skyline watching. Haru played like he was confessing something. Every note, raw, unfiltered, the kind of music that made you remember things you thought you forgot. Zola stood near the front, arms crossed, eyes closed, completely lost in it. Minjun watched her face, the way she swayed slightly, the way her lips parted like she was tasting the music. He'd never seen her look like that. So open, so vulnerable. And he wasn't the one giving her that feeling. Haru was. The song built, climbed, reached, then it broke. Soft again, gentle, like an apology. When it ended, no one moved. The silence felt sacred. Then applause exploded. Cheers, whistles. Zola was the loudest, her whole face lit up. Haru smiled, bowed, locked eyes with her across the crowd. Minjun's stomach twisted. The set continued. 3 more songs, each one better than the last. Between songs, Haru talked to the audience, shared stories about Tokyo, about learning music from his grandfather, about how art saved him when nothing else could. People loved him because he was real, unguarded, the kind of person who made you want to be softer. Everything Minjun wasn't. After the set, people swarmed Haru, congratulating him, taking photos, buying him drinks. Zola hung back, letting him have his moment, but her eyes stayed on him. Minjun noticed. He always noticed. Eventually, the crowd thinned. Haru found Zola near the edge of the rooftop, looking out at the city. "You killed it," she said. "Thanks. Couldn't have done it without you setting this up. That's my job. Making space for good art. You're good at it." "I know." They both laughed. Haru moved closer, leaned on the railing beside her. "Soul's different at night, huh? Feels like the whole city's dreaming." "Yeah. I love it up here. Makes everything feel possible. That's how you make me feel." Zola turned. "What?" "Your energy. The way you see things. It's rare." She didn't respond, just looked at him. Really looked. The wind picked up. A strand of hair fell across Zola's face. Haru reached out, his fingers brushed it back. Slow, careful, intimate. His hand lingered, just for a second. "Sorry," he said softly. "It was in your eyes." Zola smiled. "It's fine." But across the rooftop, Minjun saw everything. That touch, that smile, that moment, and something inside him shattered. He pushed off the railing, his legs moved before his brain caught up. He crossed the rooftop in 6 steps. "Zola," she turned, surprised. "Minjun? I didn't know you were still here. Can we talk? Now?" "Yeah, now." Haru stepped back, read the room. "I'll catch you later, Zola. Thanks again for tonight." He left. Zola stared at Minjun. The fairy lights cast shadows across his face. His jaw was tight. His hands were fists. "What's going on?" she asked. Minjun opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. "I don't know," he said finally. "But we need to talk." The city hummed below them. The wind carried saxophone notes from somewhere far away, and Zola stood there, finally understanding. This wasn't casual. This wasn't nothing. This was everything neither of them had been brave enough to say. The stairwell overlooked the Han River, Concrete steps, metal railing. The city stretched below like a circuit board. Lights blinking, traffic moving, life happening everywhere except here. Minjun paced, 3 steps forward, turn, 3 steps back. Zola leaned against the railing, arms crossed, waiting. "You said we needed to talk," she said. "So talk." Minjun ran his hands through his hair. His breath came uneven, like he'd been running. "I don't know how to say this. Start anywhere. It's not that simple. Then make it simple." He stopped pacing, looked at her, really looked. Under the streetlights, Zola's face was half shadow, half gold. Patient, but guarded. She wasn't going to make this easy for him. Good. He didn't deserve easy. Tonight, his voice cracked. He cleared his throat, tried again. "Seeing him touch you, Haru?" "Yeah, Haru. He brushed my hair out of my face, Minjun. That's it." "I know." "Then why do you look like someone died?" He laughed. It sounded broken. "Because something did. I just don't know what." Zola's expression softened, just slightly. "You're not making sense." "I know. I know." He pressed his palms against his eyes. "At the festival, when he grabbed your wrist, I felt something I've never felt before." "What?" "Terror." The word hung between them like smoke. Zola didn't move, didn't speak. Minjun kept going. The dam had cracked. Now it was flooding. Not anger, not confusion. Pure panic, like I was losing something I didn't even know I had. His hands dropped. His eyes were desperate. And tonight, when he touched your face, it happened again, worse. "Minjun, I know how this sounds. I know I sound crazy, but I can't stop replaying it. His hand, your face, the way you smiled at him. So what? You're jealous?" "Yes." The word came out like a confession. "I'm jealous. And I hate it. I hate that I care. I hate that it took another guy touching you for me to realize." He stopped. Zola stepped closer. Realize what? Silence. Just the wind, the river, the city breathing below. "Say it," Zola pushed. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were burning. "If you're gonna wreck 3 years of friendship, at least say it." Minjun's jaw clenched, his fists clenched, everything in him clenched. "I don't know if it's love," he said quietly. "I don't know what to call it, but watching you with him felt like losing you. And losing you feels impossible." Zola's breath caught. Minjun kept talking. Faster now, desperate. "I thought I was fine being your friend. I thought that was enough, but it's not. It's never been enough. I just didn't let myself see it until someone else did." "That's not fair. I know. You can't just..." Zola's voice shook. "You can't just drop this on me because you got jealous. That's not love, Minjun. That's ego." "It's not ego." "Then what is it?" "I don't know." His voice echoed in the stairwell. "I don't have the words. I don't have the answers. All I know is that you matter. You've always mattered, and I've been too scared to admit it because admitting it means risking everything." Zola stared at him. Her eyes were wet, but she didn't cry. "And now?" she asked. "Now that you've admitted it?" "Now I'm terrified you're gonna walk away." "Maybe I should." The words hit like a punch. Minjun's face crumpled. "Zola, no, listen." She stepped closer. Close enough to touch, but she didn't. "You don't get to make jealousy the foundation of this. You don't get to only see me when someone else does. That's not what's happening. Isn't it? No. I've been seeing you for 3 years. I just didn't let myself want you. Why? Because wanting you meant losing you if you didn't feel the same." Zola's voice dropped. Softer now. "And what if I do?" Minjun froze. "What if I've been seeing you too?" Zola continued. "What if I've been pretending just as much as you have?" "Then why didn't you say something?" "Because you never asked. Because you felt safe. Because I convinced myself safe was better than sorry." They stood there. Two people. One stairwell. 3 years of silence between them. Minjun reached out, slowly. His hand hovered near her face. "Can I?" he whispered. Zola didn't answer, just leaned into his palm. His thumb brushed her cheek, gentle, reverent. "I'm sorry," he said. "For being late, for being scared, for wasting time." "Don't apologize yet. Show me you mean it." "How?" "Figure it out." She stepped back. His hand fell. "I'm going home," Zola said. "Alone. And you're going to think about what you actually want, not what you want because someone else wanted it. First." She turned, started down the stairs. "Zola." She stopped, didn't turn around. "I'll do better," Minjun said. "You better." Then she was gone, and Minjun stood in the stairwell, hands shaking, heart pounding, finally awake after 3 years of sleep. Minjun started showing up different, not loud, not grand, just present. He arrived on time, every time. When Zola had a gallery install at 7 a.m., he was there at 6:45 with coffee. Not because she asked, because he knew. When she mentioned needing help moving canvases, he didn't offer. He just showed up with his car. When she talked about her day, he listened. Actually listened. Didn't interrupt with solutions. Didn't make it about him. Just listened. Zola noticed. She didn't say anything. But she noticed. Weeks passed. Minjun learned to sit with discomfort. When Zola went to dinner with other artists, he didn't text asking who was there. When she posted photos with people he didn't know, he didn't comment. He just trusted. It was harder than he expected. Every instinct screamed to control, to check, to secure. But he fought it. Because Zola was right. Jealousy wasn't a foundation. It was a crack. Zola tested him, not cruelly, just carefully. She canceled plans last minute. Minjun said okay without guilt tripping. She didn't text back for hours. Minjun didn't double text. She talked about Haru casually. Minjun didn't flinch. Slowly, something shifted. The tension eased. The air lightened. They started feeling like them again. But better, clearer. One night, Zola invited him to her studio. She was working on a new series, mixed media pieces exploring identity and belonging. "What do you think?" she asked, gesturing at a canvas covered in layers of fabric, paint, and photographs. Minjun studied it. Really studied it. "It's you," he said finally. "Layered. Complex. Beautiful." Zola's chest tightened. "You think it's too much?" "I think it's exactly enough." She smiled, small but real. "Thanks for being here," she said. "I'll always be here. Don't promise always. Just show up today." "Okay, today." They ordered jjajangmyeon, ate on the floor surrounded by paint and fabric scraps, talked about everything and nothing. It felt easy. For the first time in weeks, it felt easy. Then came the dinner. Zola organized a small gathering at a restaurant in Seongsu-dong, a celebration for a friend's exhibition. 8 people. Casual. Low-key. Haru was there. Minjun knew he would be. Zola had mentioned it. Tested him without testing him. "You okay with that?" she'd asked. "Yeah, I'm good." And he meant it. Or thought he did. The dinner was fine. Good even. Everyone laughed, told stories, passed dishes around. Haru sat across from Zola. He talked about his upcoming residency in Berlin. Zola asked thoughtful questions, encouraged him. Minjun sat beside her, participated, smiled, felt almost normal. Then it happened. Haru reached across the table for the soy sauce. Zola passed it to him. Their hands met, briefly. She squeezed his hand, quick, friendly, grateful. "Good luck in Berlin," she said warmly. "Thanks. I'll miss Seoul. Miss this." "You'll be back." "Yeah, I will." They let go. A moment, nothing more. But Minjun felt it. That old familiar panic, climbing his throat, choking him. He focused on his food, breathed through it. "You're fine. She's allowed to have friends. This doesn't mean anything." But his hands shook when he picked up his chopsticks. Later, walking Zola home, she was quiet. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah, why?" "You left early." "I have an early meeting tomorrow." "Minjun." He stopped walking. What? Don't lie. Not to me. He exhaled, long and slow. You touched his hand. So? So it bothered me. I squeezed his hand, Minjun. That's it. I know. Then why are we having this conversation? Because I'm trying. I'm really trying. But it's hard. Zola's face softened. I know it's hard, but you can't expect me to stop living because you're learning how to trust. I'm not asking you to stop living. Then what are you asking? Nothing. I just needed you to know it's still hard sometimes. Zola stepped closer, took his face in her hands, made him look at her. Growth isn't linear. You're gonna have bad days. That's okay. But don't let bad days become bad patterns. I won't. Promise? I promise. She let go, stepped back. Go home, sleep. Tomorrow's a new day. Minjun nodded, watched her walk into her building. This time he didn't spiral, didn't obsess, didn't text. He went home, sat with the discomfort, and survived it. Progress wasn't perfect, but it was progress. The call came at 1:47 a.m. Zola was half asleep when her phone lit up. She grabbed it, squinting. Minjun. Her stomach dropped. Hello? Why did you touch his hand? Silence. Minjun, are you serious right now? At dinner. You squeezed Haru's hand. Why? Zola sat up, fully awake now, anger heating her chest. Because he's my friend. Because he's leaving for Berlin. Because that's what humans do. It looked like more. It wasn't more. How am I supposed to know that? By trusting me, like I told you to. I'm trying. No, you're not. Her voice was sharp now, cold. You're spiraling, again. I just need to understand. Understand what? That I have a life? That I'm allowed to touch people without asking your permission first? That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Minjun went quiet. She could hear him breathing, heavy, uneven. I don't know, he said finally. I saw you touch him and everything went dark, like I was back at the festival, back on that rooftop, losing you all over again. You never had me to lose. The words came out harsher than she intended, but she didn't take them back. Zola, no, listen, I've been patient, I've been understanding, I've watched you try, but this? She stood up, started pacing her small apartment. This is exactly what I was afraid of. What? That your feelings aren't about me. They're about fear, about ownership, about making sure no one else gets close. That's not true, isn't it? Because from where I'm standing, you only want me when you think someone else might. Stop. Why? Because it's true? Because you're being unfair. I'm being unfair? Zola laughed, no humor in it. You called me at 2 a.m. to interrogate me about squeezing someone's hand, and I'm the unfair one? Minjun didn't respond. Zola sat back down, suddenly exhausted. What are you so scared of? She asked, softer now, tired. Losing you. To who? Haru. He's literally moving to another country. It's not about Haru. Then what's it about? Long pause. It's about me, Minjun said quietly. It's about not being enough. Zola closed her eyes. There it was. The real thing. Enough for what? For you. You're brilliant, creative, fearless. You make art that moves people. You make friends everywhere you go. And I'm just me. A guy with a corporate job and control issues who didn't even realize he loved you until someone else noticed you first. Minjun. And guys like Haru? They're free, spontaneous. They live for their art. They don't need spreadsheets and schedules and safety nets. They're everything I'm not. You think I want someone like Haru? Don't you? If I did, I'd be with him. Her voice cracked. But I'm not. I'm here, on the phone with you, at 2 a.m, trying to convince you that you're enough when you refuse to believe it. Silence. Here's the truth, Zola continued. If your love needs fences, it will die inside them. If you need to monitor my every touch, every smile, every friendship, we're already over. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. Love without trust is just pretty prison. Minjun's breath hitched, like he'd been hit. I need you to figure out what you're really afraid of, Zola said, because I can't keep reassuring you every time I exist around other men. That's not love. That's exhausting. I know. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Change. I'm trying. Try harder. The line went quiet, just breathing. Two people miles apart, oceans between them. Zola? What? Are we okay? She wanted to say yes, wanted to fix it, make it easy, but easy wasn't honest. I don't know, she said. Ask me when you've actually done the work. She hung up, dropped the phone on her bed, stared at the ceiling. Her chest felt tight. Her eyes burned. She'd been falling for him, slowly, carefully, against her better judgment. But this regression, this insecurity disguised as love, she couldn't do it, not if he didn't change, really change. Across the city, Minjun sat on his couch, phone in his hand, screen dark. He'd ruined it, after weeks of progress, after trying so hard, one dinner, one touch, one moment of weakness, and he'd burned it all down. Zola's words echoed, "If your love needs fences, it will die inside them." She was right. He knew she was right. But knowing and doing were different countries. He looked at his phone, thought about calling back, apologizing better, explaining more, but words weren't enough anymore. He needed to be different. Not try to be, actually be, or he'd lose her for real. And this time, there'd be no coming back. Minjun didn't call the next day, or the day after. For a week, Zola heard nothing. Part of her was relieved. Part of her was terrified he'd given up. Then, 8 days later, a package arrived. No note, just a book. The Art of Showing Up by someone she'd never heard of. Inside the front cover, Minjun's handwriting. Reading this. Thought you should know. Zola held the book, felt its weight, its meaning. He wasn't apologizing. He was learning. That was different. That was better. 2 weeks later, Zola had a small gallery showing in Angukdong. Nothing major. 20 people. Student work from her workshop. She didn't invite Minjun. Didn't think he'd care. But at 6 p.m. when the doors opened, he was there, standing in the back, quiet, respectful. He didn't approach her, didn't interrupt, just looked at the art, read the descriptions, stayed. After the event, he helped fold chairs without being asked. Thanks for coming, Zola said. Thanks for making beautiful things. That was it. He left. No drama, no demands, no interrogation, just presence. The next month, it rained. Zola was caught without an umbrella outside a supply store in Hongdae. She stood under the awning, checking her phone for weather updates. A shadow fell over her. Minjun, holding an umbrella. You following me now? She asked, half joking, half serious. I was nearby, saw the rain, figured you'd need this. He handed her the umbrella, started to walk away. Wait. What about you? I'll grab a cab. Minjun, he turned. Walk with me. They shared the umbrella, walked through Hongdae's narrow streets, rain drumming above them. Neither spoke much, but it felt okay. Easy even. You've been different, Zola said finally. Good different or bad different? Just different. I'm working on it. I can tell. They stopped at a crosswalk, red light, traffic hissing past. That night on the phone, Minjun said, You were right, about all of it. I usually am. He smiled, small but real. I was making you responsible for my insecurity. That wasn't fair. No, it wasn't. I'm learning to sit with discomfort, to trust you even when it's hard. How's that going? Some days are better than others. That's honest. I'm trying to be. The light changed. They crossed. Haru came back last week, Zola said casually. Testing. Minjun's jaw tightened, just for a second, then relaxed. How's Berlin treating him? Zola looked at him, surprised, impressed. Good. He's extending his residency. That's great. He's talented. He is. They walked in silence. Rain softened to drizzle. I'm proud of you, Zola said. For what? For not spiraling just now. I wanted to. But you didn't. No, I didn't. She squeezed his arm, brief, friendly. He didn't read into it, didn't panic, just smiled. Progress. A month later, Haru invited them both to a group dinner. 10 people. Casual, no pressure. Minjin almost said no, then remembered, love without trust is just pretty prison, so he went. The dinner was fine. Good food, better conversation. Haru was warm, funny, easy to like. At one point, Haru and Zola laughed at an inside joke from an old workshop. Their heads bent close, natural, comfortable. Minjun felt the familiar tightness in his chest, but instead of reacting, he breathed through it. You're okay. She's allowed to have history. This doesn't erase you. The tightness eased. Later, walking out, Haru stopped them. Hey, can I say something? They nodded. Zola's incredible. You both know that. He looked at Minjun. I could tell from the beginning she had someone, even if she didn't know it yet. Minjun blinked. What? The way she talked about you. The way her face changed when you texted. That's not friendship. That's home. Zola looked down, smiling. Haru clapped Minjun's shoulder. Don't mess it up. I'll try not to. Good. Haru left. Minjun and Zola stood there, soul buzzing around them. He's right, you know, Zola said. About what? You feel like home. Minjun's heart stopped. Yeah? Yeah, you always have. She took his hand, first time in months. His fingers closed around hers, gentle, certain. I'm not going to mess this up, he said. I believe you. And for the first time, she really did. 3 months later, Minjun asked Zola to meet him at a cafe in Yeonam-dong. Not their usual spot, somewhere new. Zola arrived curious, cautiously hopeful. Minjun was already there, 2 coffees on the table, an envelope beside them. What's this? She asked, sitting down. Open it. She picked up the envelope. Plain, white, nothing fancy. Inside, 2 tickets, printed itinerary, accommodation details. Her eyes scanned the words. Accra, Ghana, artist residency, 3 months. She looked up. Minjun, what is this? An opportunity. For you. I don't understand. He leaned forward, hands clasped, voice steady. You told me once that you felt split. Between Korea and Ghana. Between who you are here and who you were there. Zola's throat tightened. She had said that, late one night, months ago. She didn't think he remembered. You said you wanted to create work that honored both parts of you. But you couldn't do that sitting still. So you bought me plane tickets? I researched residencies, found one in Accra that focuses on diaspora artists, applied on your behalf. You got in. Zola stared at the tickets. Her hands started shaking. Why would you do this? Because you deserve room to grow, not shrink. This is 3 months, Minjun. I know. 3 months apart. I know. And you're okay with that? He smiled, sad but sure. No, I hate it. But this isn't about me. Zola's eyes filled. You can't just... I'm not buying your love. I'm not trying to fix things with money. I'm showing you that I see you, really see you. A tear slipped down her cheek. She wiped it fast. What if I meet someone there? Then you meet someone there. What if I don't come back? Then you don't come back. You'd be okay with that? No. His voice cracked. But I'd survive it. Because loving you means wanting what's best for you. Even if it's not me. Zola covered her mouth, shoulders shaking. Minjun reached across the table. Didn't touch her. Just offered his hand. She took it. I spent months being afraid, he said. Afraid of losing you. Afraid of not being enough. Afraid of every man who looked at you twice. And now? Now I'm still afraid. But I'm more afraid of making you small so I can feel big. Zola squeezed his hand. Hard. This is the most terrifying thing anyone's ever done for me. Good. That means it matters. She looked at the tickets, then at him. Come with me. What? To Accra. Not for the residency. Just visit. For a week. Meet my family. See where I'm from. Minjun's eyes widened. You want me to meet your family? Yeah, if you're serious about this. About us? Then you need to see all of me. Not just the version that fits in Seoul. I'd love that. They'll grill you. My aunties are brutal. I can handle it. My dad will ask about your intentions. I'll tell him the truth. Which is? Minjun stood, walked around the table, knelt beside her chair. That I'm in love with his daughter. That I've been in love with her for longer than I admitted. That I spent too long being scared and not enough time being brave. And that if she'll let me, I want to spend the rest of my life proving I'm worth the risk. Zola's breath caught. Is that your way of saying, I'm not proposing? Not yet. Not like this. He smiled. But I'm saying I'm all in. Completely. No more half-hearted presence. No more fear-based love. She pulled him up, wrapped her arms around him, buried her face in his chest. He held her. Solid. Steady. There. When do we leave? He asked. 2 weeks. I'll book my ticket tonight. She pulled back, looked at him, really looked. You grew up. Finally. It's sexy. He laughed, kissed her forehead. Took long enough. They sat there, holding hands, drinking cold coffee, planning a future that felt possible now. Not perfect, not easy, but real. Later, walking her home, Zola stopped him under a streetlight. Thank you, she said. For what? For not making love a cage. Thank you for not giving up on me. I almost did. I know, I'm glad you didn't. She kissed him, soft, sure, full of promise. When they pulled apart, Minjun rested his forehead against hers. 3 months is gonna suck, he whispered. Yeah, but I'll come back. Promise. Promise. Good. Because I'll be right here when you land. And she believed him. Because this time, his love wasn't built on fear. It was built on trust. And trust could survive distance. 6 months later, Zola's exhibition opened in Itaewon, a fusion show. Half Seoul, half Accra, canvas and fabric. Paint and kente, stories stitched between two worlds. The gallery was packed. Friends, collectors, strangers who'd seen her work online. Minjun stood near the back, watching her glow. She moved through the crowd like light, confident, radiant, whole. The residency had changed her, not completely, just more sure, more rooted, more herself. Minjun had visited Accra, met her family, survived her auntie's interrogation, ate fufu and laughed until his stomach hurt. Saw Zola in her grandmother's kitchen, speaking Ga and Twi, her accent shifting like music. He understood then why she needed space, why she needed both worlds. And he loved her more for it. Now, back in Seoul, they were building something new, together but separate, close but free. It wasn't perfect. Some days were hard, some arguments went late, but they worked through it. Without jealousy, without fences, with trust. Haru showed up halfway through the night. He'd moved back to Seoul, new job, new apartment, same easy smile. Zola, he waved from the entrance. She lit up, crossed the gallery, hugged him tight. You came. Of course, wouldn't miss this. They talked, laughed, caught up. Minjun watched from across the room. No panic, no tightness, just peace. Junho appeared beside him. Look at you, all evolved and stuff. Shut up. I'm serious. A year ago you would have combusted watching them hug. A year ago I was an idiot. And now? Now I know the difference between losing her and letting her live. Junho raised his drink. Growth looks good on you. They clinked glasses. Later, the crowd thinned. Zola stood near her largest piece, a mixed-media work titled Between Rivers. It showed the Han and the Volta flowing into each other. Two waters, one current. Haru joined her. "This one's my favorite," he said. "Mine too." "It's you, split but whole?" "That's the goal." They stood in silence, comfortable, easy. Then Haru reached up, brushed a loose lock from her face. The same gesture, the same intimacy. But this time it meant nothing. Just a friend fixing a friend's hair. Zola smiled. "Thanks. Any time." Across the gallery, Minjun saw it. His chest didn't tighten, his hands didn't clench. He just smiled, because he knew. Finally knew. That touch wasn't a threat. It was proof. Proof that Zola was loved by many, seen by many, valued by many. And he was secure enough to celebrate that, not fear it. Junho whistled low. "Damn, you really did it." "Did what?" "Grew the hell up." Minjun laughed. "About time." Later, after the gallery closed, Zola and Minjun walked along the Han River, the same path where everything started, where jealousy first cracked him open. Now it felt different, lighter. "Haru touched my hair tonight," Zola said casually. "I know, I saw." And nothing." She stopped walking, looked at him. "Really? Nothing? Really, he's your friend. Friends do that. Who are you, and what did you do with Minjun?" He grinned. "I grew up." Finally, she kissed him, quick, happy. "I'm proud of you." "I'm proud of me too." They kept walking, hand in hand. "I got offered another residency," Zola said. 3 months, Berlin this time. "You should go." "Just like that?" "Just like that." "You won't miss me?" "I'll miss you like crazy, but I'll be here when you get back." "Promise?" "Always." They reached the spot where the festival had been, where Haru first touched her wrist, where everything changed. "Can I tell you something?" Minjun asked. "Anything. I'm glad he touched you that night." Zola blinked. "What?" "At the festival. I'm glad Haru steadied your wrist, because if he hadn't, I might have spent the rest of my life pretending I didn't love you." Her eyes softened. "You're not mad it took jealousy to wake you up?" "I'm mad it took so long, but I'm grateful it happened." "Even though you almost ruined everything?" "Especially because I almost ruined everything. It forced me to grow." Zola leaned against him, head on his shoulder. "You know what's funny?" "What?" "A year ago, another man touching me made you realize you loved me. And now? Now another man can touch me, and you don't even flinch. That's the real love story." Minjun kissed the top of her head. "Took me long enough." "Yeah, but you got there." They stood by the river, watching the city lights shimmer on the water. 2 people. 1 love. Built slowly, earned hard, not claimed, not caged, just chosen, every single day. Zola's phone buzzed. Flight confirmation. Berlin, 3 months. She showed Minjun. He smiled. "Go make beautiful things." "I will. I'll be right here when you land." "I know." And she did. Because this time, love wasn't about holding on tight. It was about letting go and trusting they'd find their way back, together.